Question number 3 of the same paper now. So this is an object-oriented programming question. They're saying there's a class character that stores the data about the characters. Each character has a name, a current X horizontal, and a Y position. Okay, so we can just imagine it to be some sort of a grid on a 2D array, and then we'll have some rows like 0, 1, 2, 3, some columns, maybe 0, so rows 0, 1, then 2, then 3, and then these columns. And we are supposed to move the object. So let's say our character is called X here. If I move 2 steps to the right, so X will go from here to these coordinates. If I move 1 step down, X will move 1 step down in the Y direction. So I'll just comment this out. Okay. The question is saying that you have to write the class character and the constructor to not declare the methods. You have to use appropriate constructor, attribute declaration, and since there are getter methods written here, which means that the attributes should be private. Otherwise, there is no purpose of making private attributes until and unless we have to use getters to access them. So class character, which will have the attributes in the constructor. They're saying initialize name, X position, Y position to the parametric values. Define it. We have self. Let's call them name, X position. You can call them anything you want, and then Y position. And then we just have to set these attributes. So self dot dash dash name is equal to name, and then X position equal to X position, and then Y position equal to Y position. There should be one less I. Okay, here we go. And we also need to declare these types. Name is string as written in the question. So str, X position is integer, and Y position is also integer. All right, this is done. Then you move on to part 2. They're saying you have to write getter methods. Very simple. Define get name, get X position, get Y position, and we just return the values one by one. Okay, this is done. Then they're saying you have to write setter method. Okay, the setter method will be responsible for setting the value to the parametric value that you pass in. But there is going to be some conditions here now. Okay, so we'll have two functions now. We have set X position and set Y position. These are going to be our setter methods. So they're saying in these setter methods, what we have to do is they will each take a value as a parameter and add this to the current X or Y. If the new value exceeds 10,000, it is limited to 10,000. If the new value is below 0, it is limited to 0. Okay, very simple. So we will first calculate the new position. So we'll say self dot X position plus equal to new X. So we update it with the new X value, and then we check if the updated position of X is greater than 10,000, then we are just going to limit it to 10,000 like this. And if that is not the case, if the self position dot X position becomes less than 0, then we limit it to 0 like this. Very simple. And we have to do the same thing for Y. So we can just rewrite this, or we can copy paste, up to you. So self dot Y position, new Y, we check if it is greater than 10,000, we set it to 10,000. And if it is less than 0, then we limit it to 0. Then the next part, they're saying we have to write a function called move, on which we'll be updating the positions based on the direction that the user inputs. So this is define move, and it will take a string parameter. So let's call it direction. And then they're saying it would be up, down, left, or right. The label will show, the table shows that each direction will take. So up will be y plus 10, down will be minus 10. So just like we saw here, when the character has to move up, so it will be in y, move down will be alongside y, left would be on the x-axis, and then moving right will also be on the x-axis. Very simple, just like how you play games So direction is equal to up, then we are going to change the y position by 10. So that we are not going to use this value here directly, y position. Instead, we have to use the setter method because there's a purpose for why they ask you to do it beforehand. So set y position to 10, like this. Should be self dot. Okay, lf direction is equal to down. Then we'll set the y position to -10. Then lf direction is equal to left. Then we are going to set the x position to -10. And then we have left and right if it is the last direction. So let's make it lf direction equal to right, and then we'll set the x position to +10, and else we can just print invalid move, although they have not asked us to, so let's not do that. Move is done. Then they're saying in part B the program code to declare a new instance of character with the identifier jack. Okay, and then we have to, so this will be in the main program. They're saying you have to create a character jack. Jack is equal to is a character, and the character will have a name and then x and then y. So the name is going to be Jack, and the x position is going to be 50, and y position is also going to be 50 as per the question. Okay, this is done. Then they're saying the class by character inherits from the class character. Okay, so we have inheritance now. So I'm going to hide this code. Let's write the new class. Class by character will inherit the character class. So we have to write it this way. It means bike character is child class of character. You don't have to write this just for note taking. Okay, now they're saying you have to write the constructor as parametric values, and then again you have to do the same routine work. Define init self. So we'll take in the name, the x position, and the y position, same as the parent class. And then they're saying that you have to call its parent class constructor. You have to use the super call as discussed. So super call is responsible for calling any method from the parent class. Again, this is just a comment, so I'll leave it on the side. So super call, and they're saying you have to use the parent constructor. So we'll use the parent constructor, and the parent constructor can be called using super dot, and we use dash dash init, and then we use the same parameters, name, x position, y position. We're not going to send the self as a parameter here. Self is only needed when we are defining, not when we are calling. Okay, this is done. Let's leave the comment up. And super must always be the first line of the definition of the method if you have to use a call to the parent class. It cannot be the second, third line, because this is what should be done first, and then you can write the remaining code. Okay, this is done. Then they're saying you have the method move that will override the method. Okay, overriding is when we have the same function name with the same parameters, but in a different class with a different functionality. That's it. So now we have to write the move function, but with overridden functionality. So define move, and we'll have a direction here again. Everything is the same. Instead now of +10 and -10, we have +20 and -20. But we cannot call it from the parent class, because in the parent class, it is supposed to have the value set to 10, -10, -10. But what we can do is we can simply copy and we can just paste it here to save time. So this will be equal to 20, -20, minus -20, -20. All right, let's make sure that there's no other thing that they've asked. Show override the method from the parent class. Okay, so there's one mistake here. So they're saying override from the parent class here. So we are supposed to call the move function from the parent class, except we will just change this value here. So instead of self, we'll make a super call here like this. What it will do is it will call the move from the parent class, and in this case we will pass the set y position as 20. So this will become 20 here instead of 10. And I'll change all of these to super call. Now it's going
But
to
sir,
print.
uh,
So if you make a super call to the move directly, and you write super dot move, now what will happen is when you call the function on, let's say, up, so it's already defined for the values of 10, for the steps of 10, right? So it will only do 10 minus 10 minus 10 plus 10. So this will be not correct because they're saying you have to make it 20. So instead of copy pasting, we can override it by using the super calls, and we'll just ask it to change the values from 10 to 20. So this
ठीक
will
है.
not change the values. All right, now next part, they're saying write program code to declare a new instance of by character. So let's hide all of this. Okay, we have a new by character called Carla. Carla is equal to bike character, and she will also have a name which is Carla, and then starting x position is 100, y position is 50. Okay, so we have all of this ready now. Write the program code to take as an input one of the two characters that you would like to move, and then you have to show their movement on the screen. Take as input the direction the user would like the character to move, call the appropriate method to move the character, output the character, new x and y in the appropriate format, new position is this. All the inputs must be validated. Again and again I remind, so validated means that you have to use a conditional loop. Is must, not just an if condition, because if condition does not repeat, conditional loop will make sure it will keep on repeating until the output is correct. Let's write this. So
तो
let's
ये भी क्लास के अंदर
character to move, let's call it two characters that user would like to move. Let's call it choice. Choice is equal to input. In fact, to keep it simple, let's convert this into integer. Enter 1 for Jack, 2 for Carla. So we don't have to get in the complexities of uppercase, lowercase, and spacing and all of that. So if choice is set to 1, again we have to use a while loop here. So let's set the choice to an empty to 0 initially, so the loop will run. So while choice is less than 1 or choice is greater than 2, as long as that is the case, we'll keep on asking the user to input the values again and again. Okay, the user will input the choice. Then once the choice is appropriate, then we have to choose the direction. We'll use the same logic for direction. I'll set the direction to 0 and I'll check. We already have the variable direction, so let's call it direction integer, something like this. So while direction integer is less than 1 or direction integer is greater than 4, because we have 4 directions, and then direction integer is equal to int input, enter 1 for up, 2 for down, 3 for left, and 4 for right. This is totally up to you. You can use the string methods, but you have to make sure that you convert them into the same case, either lowercase or uppercase. But this is much more preferable because it avoids all of that. So we'll have the choice, we'll have the direction inputted as well. Now we have to call the appropriate method to move the character. Okay, now we have to make if conditions. So if the choice is set to 1, and then whatever that direction is, we are supposed to move Jack and Carla according to the direction that they have chosen. But I think this is not going to work because direction is supposed to be up, down, left, right. Yes. Okay, so we have to actually change them because there would be a type mismatch here. So let's convert it back to input, enter up, down, left, right. Okay, so
then
this
you have one.
so we'll make it while direction choice is not equal to up and not equal to, so we'll keep on repeating. Okay, there's an easier method. Let's call it list. No, list is not. Let's call it actual, or maybe anything is fine. Let's call it correct is equal to. So we'll place all these values there up. Again, this is just to save your time. You can not choose to do it this way. And then I can check while the direction choice that the user is inputting. So direction choice, I'm going to set it to initially empty. And while direction choice is not in the correct array, right? So what will happen is whatever the user will input will always make sure that it is one of these, up, down, left, or right. If it is not, then we will keep on repeating, and I'll ask the user to input one of these into direction choice. So this is just one way of avoiding a very long if condition, which will be if direction choice, while direction choice is not equal to up and not equal to down and not equal to left and not equal to right. This is just a simplified version of it. Okay, now you have the input here as well. Then they're saying you have to call the appropriate method. Okay, so we'll check if the choice is equal to 1, which means that we are going to move Jack. So Jack dot move. Okay, now what did move function do? The move function is supposed to change the direction up, down, or left, right by changing the x and y positions. So move it by, okay. In the move function, we have to send in the direction up as well. So we already have the direction in this variable direction choice, and we get that here. And we should also convert this to lowercase in case user inputs an uppercase value, so they won't match. So we have to convert this lowercase. Okay, we'll do that. And then they're saying you have to output the new position. So how do we get the new positions for Jack? Okay, now in order to get the positions, we go back to the character class and we have the get name, get y, and get x. So we have to use all three getter methods. Let's get the values out one by one. Print in the format string. Carla's new position is, so we'll get the name first. So Jack is the name of the object dot get name. And
सर ये फिर समझाएंगे जो आपने
so we'll get the Jack's name. New position is x is equal to, here we'll get the x position. So how do we get the x position? We have the getter methods. The getter method is called get x position. The name of the object is Jack. You could have called it anything. Just by naming it Jack, we cannot get the name. So we'll use Jack dot get position. And then they're saying y is equal to, and here we'll have Jack dot get y position like this. And finally, they're asking us to test your program twice, and let's run this. It says Jack's new position is x is equal to 60, y is equal to 50. Okay, working fine until I'm not inputting the right input. And then there's the second is they're saying input Carla. So I input 2 and she will be moving down. So if I say, and if I write left, this will not work. Yep, we have to copy paste it like discussed. If choice is equal to 2, Carla will be the one moving, and we just have to change the names like this. Okay, Carla 2, and then down, and it says Carla new position is 100 and y is equal to 30, and the answer is correct, and the question is done.